Chapter 5, the position description. Now that you have confirmed that you meet the requirements to submit a classification and you have considered the implications of position management, let's get started. The classification process has 3 components. 1, the position description, 2, the job discussion help sheet, and 3, the job discussion. All these components are part of the job evaluation. Your regional classification center uses these 3 components to create a job report using the MClass software. As you prepare for and write any position description, always focus your thoughts on the position and not on the employee assigned to the position. It helps to think of the position as vacant.
Let's start with the job overview. Consider writing a paragraph or 2 of the job overview. This is a brief statement explaining the overall purpose of the position, primarily describing the role, responsibilities, and impact of the position on the mission. This statement will appear in the vacancy announcement when the position is advertised and therefore should be in plain language that is easily understood by internal and external applicants.
Now we will talk about the 3 steps you need to take when writing an effective position description. The first is fact gathering, followed by organizing facts, and finally writing the major duties. When doing the fact gathering, it is important that you first collect and review all available information about the position, such as the previous position descriptions, organizational charts, and descriptive statements about the job. Secondly, if the position is vacant, make a list of duties that need to be performed. If an employee holds the position, ask him or her to make a log of daily tasks. Finally, discuss the position's task with other staff members who have the responsibility for and/or information about the work of the position. Step 2 is organizing the facts. Classification looks at the 4 or 5 major duties and responsibilities required to be performed, which typically take a minimum of 10% of the employee's time. You should group like or related duties and tasks together in a logical manner and assign a title to each of these groups. Then continue to arrange the various groups in order of importance. Afterwards, estimate the percentage of time spent performing each major kind of work. For example, you may assign 10% to a group of duties that can be performed in 4 hours per week. Writing the major duties may be the most important part of all. You need to be brief and concise.
Write no more than 1 page.
Use plain, clear language. Be careful with the language you use. Write simple and precise statements and avoid technical phrases and ambiguous remarks. It helps if you use active verbs when describing duties. For example, posts, designs, creates, manages, processes, and so on. Usually the verbs such as assists or handles require further explanation of the action involved.
By using what work to be performed, the expected outcome, and how we measure it. For example, serves as embassy airport expediter for arriving and departing foreign service officials, their family members, other USG employees, and very important persons to ensure smooth passage at the airport. What happened to any backup duties or other duties that are not regular or reoccurring? To address the type of other duties as assigned, we recommend adding the following statement. This position description in no way states or implies that these are the only duties to be performed by the incumbent. The incumbent will be required to perform other duties as assigned by the agency, with no percentage of time being allocated to this statement.
Using this method, you have finalized the major duties and responsibilities of the position,
which falls under Section 11 of the PD.
It is important to remember to cross-check these duties with others within your unit to avoid overlapping of duties. Now you have to decide the required qualifications the candidate will need to successfully perform the position's duties. Remember that the words preferred, desired, or should are not permitted in the qualification section of the position description. Let's start with education. Remember that this is the minimum level of education required to perform the duties of the job. It should also match the type of work being performed. For example, a university degree should not be required for an administrative level position. If a university degree is required, it should be in a specific field. Otherwise, 2 years of university is sufficient. Degrees such as liberal arts, humanities, or engineering without a specific engineering field will result in a classification of 2 years of university. Also, remember that the language related field should not be included.
Work experience addresses the type and length of previous experience required. The experience required must directly relate to the responsibilities of the position. For example, the department and OSHA have required that chauffeurs have a minimum of 2 years of professional driving experience. Be careful when stating the experience. Make sure to include the minimum number of years of experience required. This should not be a range. For example, minimum 2 years of professional driving experience is correct. Minimum 2 to 3 years of professional driving experience is not correct.
When supervisory experience is required, please separate between job profession-related experience and the supervisory experience to add clarity. You need to determine licensing, certification, training requirements to reach effective performance within a reasonable period of time. To illustrate it, divide these requirements into 3 groups. Pre-hire requirements needed to qualify for the position, such as a medical license for nurse or medical practitioner, or valid driver's license for chauffeurs, or vocational certification for technical positions. Post-hire requirements needed to perform core roles of the position that must be obtained post-hire as they are offered in accordance with the department operations, such as contract or grant officer representatives, post-show cashiering and other financial related training. And finally, post-hire requirements needed for the advancement of the role, but not core work such as Microsoft certifications, SharePoint training for non-IRM jobs, and host country-specific training such as local Social Security or tax withholding.
Next is language proficiency in English or the local languages. Remember that language is directly related to the education levels and the complexity of the job. They should not be too high or too low. For example, a custodial position should not require a level 3 or higher in any language. Job knowledge will describe what knowledge the position needs to be fully successful. This could include knowledge acquired both before and after hire. For example, a voucher examiner would need knowledge of basic bookkeeping, accounting practices, and agency regulations. In this example, the bookkeeping accounting knowledge was obtained prior to entry, and the agency regulations would be acquired post-entry. This may be linked to the experience requirement. Finally, you need to address the skills and abilities. There are times this appears to overlap with knowledge, but here you should address the essentials, such as customer service skills, driving skills, software and computer skills, and so on.
In the position description, list the pre-hire and post-hire skills and abilities. Pre-hire skills and abilities are required of the candidate to be hired into the position. For example, interview for HR recruiter, presentation and public speaking for trainers, counseling for supervisors, drafting building plans for architects, and interpersonal skills for close. Hiring managers may decide to use the pre-hire knowledge, skills, and abilities to screen the applicants if they are added in the vacancy announcement. Special work environment or conditions. Use this space if the position is subject to a special work environment or condition, such as if the position is required to travel significantly, 25% or more, or if the position is expected to be available on call, standby for 24 hours a day. This special condition should be reflected in the vacancy announcement and made known in the recruitment process.
For more information on the new JF298 position description, please continue watching the next video. Thank you for watching.